The elementals are here now, attacking the same coordinates. Our satellites confirm it.
We have one mission. Kill it. And you're coming with us.
Mr. Fury, this all seems like big time. You know, huge superhero kind of stuff. And, I mean, I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, sir.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Well, Fury asked me to come up here and see how you were doing. He felt bad about snapping at you.
Really?
You guys do have sarcasm on this Earth, right? How you feeling?
I didn't think I was gonna have to save the world this summer. I know that makes me sound like such a jerk. I had this plan with this girl that I really like, and now it's all ruined.
I like you, Peter. You're a good kid. There's a part of me that wants me to tell you just turn around, run away from all this, and then there's another part of me that knows that we're about to fight. What's at stake. And I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
But you're worried about your friends.
Yeah. Just always feel like I'm putting them in danger.
Look, just get them inside and keep them in a safe place for just a few hours and they'll be all right.
It's really nice to have somebody to talk to about superhero stuff, you know?
Anytime.
Okay, here we are. Beat the rush.
Yeah, to rush out.
Lucky for us, we got the best seats in the house.
Let's go.
You look really pretty.
Therefore, I have value.
No. No, that's not what I meant at all. I was just...
I'm messing with you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You look pretty too.
Oh my gosh, opera glasses.
So cute.
Can I?
Want to go in on a pair?
You mean let's sit next to each other?
Yeah.
Parker, are you in position?
No.
Okay. No,
Why the hell
you
not?
don't want to sit next to me, or no, you just don't want to take class?
I didn't mean that. If you go ahead, I'll go grab us a pair.
Parker,
No, I'm coming. What is going on?
These things destroyed my world.
The snap tore a hole in our dimension. Now this threat is here. The world is in chaos. I need a new team. I need an Avenger.
What about Thor?
Off-world.
Doctor Strange?
Unavailable.
Captain Marvel?
Don't invoke her name.
Mr. Stark trusted me. I am not gonna let him down. We have to stop them. Welcome to the Avengers.
You got gifts, Parker. The world needs that.
I've got this.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We have a whole bunch of Spider-Man Far From Home trailers and scenes to break down. There's also a bunch of big Marvel news that dropped this morning about Comic-Con. Marvel will be going. They confirmed their panel. I'll talk about that at the end of the video. Kevin Feige was also talking about X-Men characters coming into the MCU, so it's actually a really big day for Marvel fans. There's a new round of that Spider-Man Far From Home IMAX ticket giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave a Spider-Man comment on the video. I'll name a new winner at the end of this. Welcome to the Avengers, Mysterio. I'm sure this totally won't go off the rails. What a great idea. Spider-Man feels like he's justified in minting a brand new Avenger, I guess because he's one of the only ones around. Love the Doctor Strange name drop too. I'll explain that. There's actually a big theory about the plot of the Doctor Strange movie that involves Spider-Man Far From Home. But we start with the clip of Mysterio explaining his backstory in much greater detail about how the elementals destroyed his world and he was the last of a group of heroes, last of whatever his world's version of the Avengers was. They tried to save it. They were too late. You kind of see the metaphor they're going for. Because this is happening after the events of Avengers Endgame, they want to make it seem like that was a version of an Earth where Thanos wound up winning and destroying the entire planet, only it was just the elementals that were causing all the damage, and now they're going to the same locations where they destroyed that other world on our Earth. Then there's a scene of Mysterio going to talk to Peter on the bridge, which seems like it's a little bit later in the film after he's just been chewed out by Nick Fury for refusing the hero's call. It sounds like he spends a lot of the early part of the film refusing that call. We're putting a new team together. I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm on my summer vacation. I have all this PTSD from watching my surrogate father, Iron Man, die in my arms just a couple months ago. The whole idea being that Mysterio is supposed to be the cool uncle to Iron Man's father figure, giving Spider-Man someone to talk to when he's all bummed out about hero stuff that also understands what he's going through. So one of his big arcs during the film is dealing with the trauma and the grief of losing Iron Man. But as bummed out as he seems in a lot of these scenes, I don't think that they're taking it to Tobey Maguire levels of Spider-Man being bummed out. Of all the live-action ones at least, he's probably been the most bummed out of all the Spider-Man that we've gotten so far. Speaking of which, there was actually somebody during the press junkets recently that asked Tom Holland if he wanted to do a crossover with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, a big multiverse crossover. Of course he said yes.
Any chance there's a multiverse in which Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and then your Spider-Man all meet together?
Clashing?
That'd be dope.
But would you want that, though?
Would you want that? Maybe that's a better question.
Yeah.
Would we want that?
The thing about this film that's so exciting, right, is we take Spider-Man to Europe, and what's so cool about that is we've never seen Spider-Man in Europe before. No, of course I'd love to make a movie with those guys. It would be so cool. No, it would be amazing. It would be really, really cool, and it's something that the fans really want. So whether Marvel and Sony decide to do that,
or
it's up to them.
To do it.
It's not up to me. I can't walk in and be like, Kevin, this is what we're doing on the next one.
Yeah.
But it would be really awesome.
Then they go into the scene of them at the opera. It's just a bit of a funny moment with Peter trying to balance both of his lives, trying to do Spider-Man stuff with Nick Fury yelling in his ear while they're in the middle of a big tactical situation, and also try to make time with his lady MJ, who still at this point in the film hasn't figured out that he's Spider-Man. But clearly from the way they leave the scene, you can see that he's going to have to ghost her during this performance, and she'll just wonder where he went, just like she did at the end of the first film.
I gotta go.
Hey, where are you going? What are you hiding, Peter? I'm just kidding, I don't care. Bye. All right.
So they're just trying to continue that idea that she's very observant and she does kind of like Peter, so she pays attention to what he's doing at all times, and she just happens to notice that he always seems to duck out when really big things are happening. So that's part of the reason that Nick Fury gives him the stealth suit during the film, so that other people also don't start figuring out that he's Spider-Man, because he keeps popping up everywhere these elementals pop up in Spider-Man as well. They keep showing the footage of the old Avengers Tower, so I think it's safe to say that at least one of the post-credit scenes is going to be a big reveal of who bought it from Iron Man. Remember, they would have to be crazy rich, so it's probably, quote-unquote, a corporation. I'm sure we'll all hear a bunch of theories about that in the next week or two. There's a very big superhero landing in the new Steve Ditko's suit. Love the new footage of that funny montage scene of Spider-Man referencing all the different characters, including Doctor Strange. So they changed the line from Captain Marvel as well, too. They'd actually covered up the Doctor Strange line, maybe because when they first released that clip, it was because it was right after Avengers Endgame came out at theaters, and they didn't want to completely give away that Doctor Strange was coming back. But the new line is Captain Marvel, don't invoke her name. The big Doctor Strange rumor, though, the reason why he isn't available to help out during the events of this movie is because it takes place concurrently with the events of Doctor Strange 2, which they haven't started filming yet. That movie is not going to be released till like 2021, I think. But during that movie, Doctor Strange is supposed to be trapped in the dream dimension by the villain, who is Nightmare. This is the director talking about that last year.
I really like the character of Nightmare and the concept that the Nightmare realm is a dimension. I always thought that was one of the, and that's early. That's like in the first Strange Tale. I think that's in the introductory episode of Doctor Strange, and I always loved that.
Then Spider-Man, infamously, we should say, inducts Mysterio to the Avengers. So of course that's going to bite him in the ass by the end of the movie. But this seems like it's pretty early with them bonding, so Spider-Man grows really close to him, so that whatever big betrayal they might have later in the film lands way harder on Spider-Man. There's a much longer scene of him swinging through the buildings in New York City, probably towards the end of the film. I do like the physics of this version of Spider-Man in this movie. I feel like they've gotten much better at that since way back in the Tobey Maguire era. Remember Kirsten Dunst with the mannequin? When they would do those swinging scenes, sometimes her hair would blow the wrong way. It wouldn't quite make sense, and if you stare at it too long, you can definitely tell that she's holding onto a mannequin and not an actual person. We should still say, even though some of the special effects were a little more primitive, Spider-Man 2 remains one of the best comic book films of all time. Because all the Spider-Man Far From Home junkets are happening right now, they're interviewing all the people. Kevin Feige was doing interviews as well, too. He said some funny stuff about Keanu Reeves, just because Keanu Reeves is on fire right now.
The feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
He said that he's been talking to Keanu Reeves on a regular basis ever since they've been making Marvel movies, looking for a role for him, but it's just taken this long to find the appropriate one. So every time a new phase of films comes up, they always meet with Keanu Reeves to try and talk about something that they might be able to work on together. The new movie that he's supposed to be doing right now is Eternals. That's the role that he's up for, but we don't know exactly who he would be playing during that.
Duke Kaboom, Canada's greatest stuntman. Huh. Oh yeah. Ha. Huh. Yes. Huh? Hold on. One more. Oh, yeah.
He also said that ever since the Fox deal completed and they got access to all the X-Men characters, at least on a legal level, they've been having regular meetings with all the executives at Marvel Studios pitching ideas for X-Men inside the MCU, whether it be their own solo films or they do the Spider-Man, Captain America Civil War route, or like Black Panther, where they put them in a much bigger film and then give them their own solo film. So even though it's going to take a long time for us to actually see some X-Men actually popping up inside Marvel movies, they're talking about it right now. But this is just like very early pitch stage where people are trying to come up with ideas. Why don't we introduce Wolverine in the post-credit scene for whatever movie is going to be right before the next Avengers film? Then he becomes a much bigger character and eventually joins the Avengers. Or why don't we debut Professor X or Magneto or Kitty Pryde? Then you can just theory craft from there. So obviously all that's going on behind the scenes right now, if you're worried. But he did say that Deadpool is kind of its own separate thing. So Deadpool isn't really being considered for a big crossover movie with an MCU character anytime soon. As I'm making this video, I'm still supposed to go see Spider-Man Far From Home, so my non-spoilery early reaction review will post tomorrow too. As long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you'll see that video when I post it, so no worries, it will be non-spoilery. We're not really allowed to post really big review videos till the end of the month. Congratulations to the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video, Caleb Park Production Company. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Click here for that brand new Avengers Endgame deleted scene with Iron Man and Doctor Strange, and then click here to learn about the alternate ending to Avengers Endgame. Thank you so much for